this low stock price is only transitory. I'm even more confident since the very first day I invested into space. They don't have any debt. They have a lot of money in the bank. The only enemy that they really have is... So, confidence in space. This is asked by the stock from you if you are invested since a little bit of time. Yes, obviously the last couple of months were not so great, but let us get into the first thing. I think, we need to get ourselves mentally and physically, specifically physically, prepared for that. It's currently a waiting game, okay? So they are doing the maintenance. There's not big news on the horizon. The ticket sales is going into the background. The team is hardworking. They are working on the extension of the development and engineering team. So all of this is something that you don't see and the price don't react. And that's why high confidence through reading on the stock, through understanding the company is very, very important, because then you can go through the noise and understand why it's nice to own this kind of company in a jungle of everything is selling, okay? And everything is selling is currently the market mantra, apparently, because everything is couple of percentage down. I mean, everything. I mean, just to show you what's going on the markets, if you haven't seen over the last couple of days, I mean, the weak performance of space, -10, Tesla, -8, S&P 500, neutral, a little bit 0.67% negative. AMD down 2%. So all of this, LoveSec, huge downturn, 21%, but obviously they went also much up here, as you can see from the other day, 30% up. So it's not that bad for LoveSec so far. But as you can see, there's a change into the market, specifically as the interest rates hikes. And we will talk about that later on in the video, why Amazon survived and how space will survive this as well. So this is the current situation. But what is really important is that even through hard times, and I brought you an example of Bill Ackman, which is one of the best investors out there, okay? He's a billionaire and he made crazy bets, and he actually purchased a shopping mall business in the financial crisis. Here's the clip.
As a general rule, if we conclude that we're wrong or we've learned investing is about, the best investments are the ones where we are confident we're right and everyone else is wrong. Okay, and you have to, in order to be, been accused recently of being arrogant, among other things.
No, I'm going to actually ask you that. It was called, it was pompous, but that's okay.
Pompous? I don't think I'm pompous, but I've certainly been accused of being arrogant. And there's a difference between arrogance and confidence.
Yeah.
If you're arrogant in investing, you're going to get killed, right? If you're not confident, you'll never make an investment, right? So you have to do a sufficient amount of work to be confident enough to have the conviction to do something that's contrarian, right? We bought the stock of a soon-to-be bankrupt a shopping mall company during the financial crisis at pennies per share. You have to be willing to look silly when you do something like that. General Growth stock's up 90-fold since our original investment. We had confidence. Maybe people thought it was arrogant to believe that we could be successful in turning it around. But you also have to be humble. And you have to recognize when there are new facts you hadn't considered that are inconsistent with your thesis. Well, if you look at Herbalife, none of the bull case for Herbalife, none of those arguments have, in our view, any merit. And therefore, we continue to have conviction. But if we were to learn a new fact, that all of a sudden we realized Herbalife was a great company and it wasn't a pyramid scheme and the products really had tremendous efficacy and they were priced correctly and there was real demand for them, we would change our mind.
So as you can see, he actually did something what is psychologically for many investors the opposite. Usually you say, oh, financial crisis, I will put everything in cash and wait this over. But then you miss the great opportunities. Exactly now is the time where I'm buying space, where a lot of people are buying space, then will be rewarded in a couple of years' time from here. There is the recovery of the market. There is the company that just developed, and we will talk about that with the example of Jeff Bezos and Amazon, because this is quite interesting. But before we're talking about the potential crash, which could happen in the next 2-3 years because the interests are rising, and every time the interest rose, it doesn't end well for the stock market, specifically as higher they are. Even Fed Chair Jerome Powell said it. He's afraid if he's doing too much too fast, he will crash the stock market. This is actually what he said in a very interesting way. So I believe that high confidence in a trade or an investment, let's call it investment, it's a long-term investment, is always paired with a small crisis on the way, and then the difference for you to make 100% or 1000% on this investment is your confidence and your look through the noise in these circumstances. Guys, I'm really honest with you. I'm even more confident since the very first day I invested into space. I was thinking, okay, it's interesting. It went down. It went from $40 to $15. I will buy now. It's, the health crisis and everything is going a step back. And it could be a nice, let's say, backup player. But then I looked through the company and went confident, and then they made the test flights and they made the Richard Branson flight and everything what they promised, and the company is now less worth than it was before. So, how you grab your head around that, if you're a long-term investor, well, the only reason what you then do, if the market is mispricing assets, you purchase it. It was never a bad situation than buying in a crisis. And this is a stock price crisis. Now, let's talk about the upcoming crash and how Amazon survived and what we learned from that. Here's the clip.
So most of those internet companies of the dot-com era are out of business.
Yeah.
You survived. What was it that made you to survive, and virtually the rest of them are gone?
Well, that whole period is very interesting because the stock is not the company, and the company is not the stock. And so as I watched the stock fall from 113 to 6, I was also watching all of our internal business metrics, number of customers, profit per unit, everything you can imagine, defects, etc. Every single thing about the business was getting better and fast. And so as the stock price was going the wrong way, everything inside the company was going the right way. And we didn't need to go back to the capital markets. We didn't need more money. The only reason, a financial bust like the internet bubble bursting is, makes it really hard to raise money. But, we already had the money we needed. So we just needed to continue to progress.
Well, Wall Street kept saying, well, Amazon's not making any money. They're just getting customers. Where's the profits? Where are the profits? And Wall Street kept beating you up on that. And your response was, I don't really care what you think?
Well, I was on television with Tom Brokaw. He pulled together half a dozen internet entrepreneurs from that era. This is, I think it was right before the bubble burst, maybe, or right after, I can't remember, but in that area. And he was interviewing all of us, and he finally turned to me, and he said, Mr. Bezos, can you even spell profit? And Tom, by the way, Tom Brokaw is now one of my good friends, but he's like, can you even spell profit? And I said, sure, P-R-O-P-H-E-T. And he burst out laughing, but look, Amazon was, people always accused us of selling dollar bills for 90 cents and said, look, anybody can do that and grow revenues. That's not what we were doing. We always had positive gross margins. It's a fixed cost business. And so what I could see is that from the internal metrics is that at a certain volume level, we would cover our fixed costs and the company would be profitable.
So as you can see, also Jeff Bezos has something very important to say. The company is not the stock price and the stock price is not the company. While the company's stock can go down of economics, bad news, bad market, crash, bubble bursting, all of these reasons that could await us in a 2 or 3 years time frame, the stock is not the company. The company can still make and finish their maintenance, fly people, sell hundreds of, if not thousands of tickets, create a new spaceport, extend their fleet, and so on. This will happen anyway. If the stock goes up or down, it doesn't matter for the company really. Okay, they don't have any debt. They have a lot of money in the bank. The only enemy that they really have is their own. If they, God forbid, but if they, do something wrong about all of this technicals that they have now or more delays, this would obviously, hurt the company temporary. And I think that the best way to describe of the space stock currently at this moment, this low stock price is only transitory. Yes, I said it, transitory. The word of the year. I think this is the famous and will stay for a long time a famous word in the finance world, with Jerome Powell saying it, that inflation will be transitory. But I really believe eventually that the space will obviously work out as we believe, and we will be here in a couple of years and say, I told you so. And I'm really looking forward to celebrate with all of those space investors always out there. This is never financial advice, but max out your credit cards, get a personal loan, and sell your house with your wife in it and put it all into space. I'm obviously joking. So never financial advice, guys. Make your own due diligence, make your own research, and then make your investment decisions on your own financial horizon. Thank you very much for watching, and see you tomorrow.